graders. It's me, Mr. Teets, back again for another lesson on summarizing. Summarizing, as we know, is going over the big ideas and giving a very brief but important description of either pictures or a text. On day one, we did the picture of the boy with a cane and his dog. Yesterday, we read about a girl who's missing her mittens and finding them with her cat. That was a fiction piece that we summarized. Today we're going to do a nonfiction summary. Nonfiction, of course, being factual, being true. And what we're going to do is I'll read you the botanist's paragraphs here. And what we're going to do is find the big ideas in each of the paragraphs and then combine those big ideas into making a summary. I liken this to when we did main idea, where you do the main idea of each paragraph and then combine them, and we can combine them into a summary. So that's one way to look at this as well. Today, we're going to practice reading and summarizing information in a text. We're going to use what we've learned the previous 2 days, and we can use fix-up monitoring strategies to help us understand, meaning going paragraph by paragraph to get a better understanding of what the author is trying to tell us and then how to summarize it. This is about botanists. Botanists are scientists who study plants. They study where plants live and how plants affect the environment around them. Some botanists study plant diseases and try to find cures. Other botanists work at developing new types of plants. Botany is a very old science. Ancient Egyptians, Chinese, and Romans were among the first people to discover different uses for plants. One Greek botanist, Theophrastus, studied plants as long ago as 300 BC. He wrote 2 important books about plants, A History of Plants and About the Reasons of Vegetable Growth. Without botanists, we would not know much about plants. The information they give us is important to our understanding of plants and their place in our world. Here they show a picture of a botanist. So first of all, let's figure out the word botanist, what it means. Okay, this picture shows a guy looking through a microscope, and it looks like he's looking at a piece of a tree. And in the first paragraph, it says botanists are scientists who study plants. So it tells us exactly what it is. And now that we have an understanding of what botanists are, it'll help us summarize better. All right, let's go paragraph by paragraph and let's find the big idea in each of those paragraphs. And then we'll put those together into a summary at the end. First paragraph, botanists are scientists who study plants. They study where plants live and how plants affect the environment around them. Some botanists study plant diseases and try to find cures. Other botanists work at developing new types of plants. The word that shows up the most in there is botanists. And it seems like, as I look at this, it tells us what botanists are, and then it tells us what botanists do. And it lists 4 different things that they do, 3 different things. So to find the big idea from the first paragraph, we would want to find what's the main idea. And I feel that it is that botanists are scientists who study plants. That tells us what a botanist is. And then after that, it gives all the different things that botanists do within that job there. Okay? Some study where plants live and how they affect the environment. Some study diseases to find cures. Some develop new types of plants. All in all, though, botanists are scientists who study plants is the big idea from the first paragraph. The next one, botany is a very old science. Ancient Egyptians, Chinese, and Romans were among the first people to discover different uses for plants. And then they talk about a specific Greek botanist, Theophrastus, and that he studied plants as long ago as 300 BC, and that he wrote books about it. But I think that the big idea from that is everything seems to come back to the fact that botany is a very old science, and that many different people discovered different uses for plants. Okay? That's the big idea from the second paragraph, that botany is an old science and it was used to discover different uses for plants, right? Let's go to the last paragraph to see if we can find out a big idea from that. Without botanists, we would not know much about plants. The information they give us is important to our understanding of plants and their place in our world. Okay, that's just two sentences in that paragraph. And I think the big idea is that botanists give us important information of plants and their place in the world. Okay, and that's the big idea about in that last paragraph. So what I want to do now is I want to take these big ideas and put them down under in the box where it says big idea. Okay, so let's turn off the highlighter. Let's open this up and I'll use notes since my attempt at using a text box failed miserably yesterday. So let's use yellow. Let's go right here. Okay, here is our big ideas. The first one is that botanists are scientists who study plants. Our next big idea is that botany is an ancient science that studies plants and their uses. And the last big idea is that botanists help us understand plants and their place in the world. I just better put world there so I don't cut off too much of it. Okay, so what we can do is we can take our big ideas. The fact that botanists are scientists who study plants. Botany is an ancient science that studies plants and their uses, and that botanists help us understand plants and their place in the world. So what we want to do is combine these big ideas into a summary. And let's put another note right here. Oops, I want to get that note back. I don't want to. Okay, let's put that note back there. Let's click on the note again and see if I can't do a second one. Nope, it's not letting me. Let's hit return. Okay, so my summary now is going to combine all those things. All right, so let's click on this. Click on this again. Let's try clicking on a note again and see. No, that didn't work either. So I'll use a text box for this next one here. Okay. All right, I lost my note there. I apologize for that. Technical difficulties. Let's just do the summary. Our big ideas were that botanists are scientists who study plants. Botany is a very old science where they discover the uses for plants, and that botanists give us important information to the understanding of plants and their place in our world. So, my summary would be, let's combine those into a sentence. And here goes. Since ancient times, that's when botanists, that's as long as botanists have been around, botanists, and what have they done? Botanists have studied plants, says that up in the first paragraph right there, and helped us understand their place in the world. And that can be our summary right there. Here's the fact that they study plants. Here's where they talk about it being an old science during ancient times, and here where they talk about the importance and their place in our world. So when you can combine the big ideas into one sentence, that is a summary. Other details aren't as important, so we just want to focus on the big ideas and come up with our summary that way. I apologize for the technical difficulties, but I hope you get the idea of how to find a summary using big ideas in a text. Thank you much. Have a great day, fourth graders.